Those horrible white supremacists are at it again. Well, actually, we don't really know, but there's another shooting, and so far all I've seen is one person be shot in Boulder, Colorado today. There's apparently a second scene, maybe, but that's also just a shelter-in-place notice because maybe somebody's seen somebody who's armed and dangerous in a municipality close to Boulder. It's all fucking weird, but all we gotta know is Boulder, Colorado is a little bit of a weird place. And I had to do some digging on this one because there's not a lot of information out there right now. Like, let's just go over the news story here. Police in Colorado responded to a report of an active shooter at a King Soopers grocery store in Boulder. The details of the situation aren't yet clear, but CBS Denver helicopter footage showed a man without a shirt being escorted out of the store in handcuffs. He'll be the guy in the thumbnail as well. At 2:49 p.m. local time, the Boulder Police Department warned residents of an active shooter on Twitter. I'm glad that's the way things get distributed now. Wonderful. When 10% of the population actually uses Twitter. Whatever. Dozens of police and first responders were gathered outside the building Monday. The front of the store appeared to be damaged. Yeah, that's kind of all we know. It's like, man says his grandchildren and son-in-law saw a woman shot in front of them. Don't know if he died or anything. The FBI's on the scene. And yeah, as for this second scene or whatever, Boulder police warned residents in a nearby part of the city to shelter in place due to a report of an armed and dangerous individual. So it's weird. And like I said, Boulder is a place where you didn't think that this stuff would happen because it's one of your typically blue cities in an overwhelmingly red state. Like, you got Denver. That's where Lee Keltner was shot a few months ago. Okay? That case is still ongoing as far as I can tell. And then this happens in Boulder as well. And that's realistically your typical Boulderer, whatever you want to call the denizens of the city. And it's also home, it's like Ann Arbor, Michigan. It's home to University of Colorado. It is overwhelmingly white. I don't have that pulled up, but I do have something else about the way that they vote and what has led to these type of situations to become possible, which is kind of making me think I don't know what to make of the shooter, or at least the suspect that the police have in custody at the moment. But it's been a very eventful week, or the past about 10 days for Colorado, because about a week ago, Colorado police announced 5 Boulder Riot arrests. No more to come. Yes, there's been some unrest in the area, okay? Police in Boulder, Colorado have made 5 arrests in connection to a riot that broke out in an unruly street party near Colorado University earlier this month, authorities said Monday. The party-turned riot happened March 6th on University Hill and resulted in 3 SWAT officers being arrested by being assaulted by bricks and rocks, along with significant damage to property, police have said. 5 arrests are Boland Dodge, 21, 24-year-olds Brandon and Eric Hoover, brothers obviously, Garrett Doyle, 22, and 21-year-old Parker Clemens. All 5 were charged with 1 count each of misdemeanor engaging in a riot and violating the public health order, which they take very seriously in this overwhelmingly liberal area. Dodge was additionally charged with obstructing government operations. The Hoovers also faced charges of disobedience of public safety orders under riot conditions, obstructing a hallway, and 1 count of petty offense disorderly conduct, obviously, because they were throwing rocks and bricks at officers. Doyle was further charged with 1 felony count of menacing and 1 felony count of criminal attempt second-degree assault on a peace officer. They're peace officers. I don't really give a shit. Listen, if you want to be a cop, just fucking figure out a way to get through this physical check. You fat loser. Clemens faced an additional charge of misdemeanor criminal mischief. Police made their first arrests on March 10th, charging 20-year-old Henry M. Chardak. The felony first-degree criminal trespass, misdemeanor criminal mischief, and misdemeanor engaging in a riot. Property damage during the riot included a fire truck and an armored police vehicle. Vehicles belonging to residents were also jumped on and damaged, according to police, including one that the mob flipped over. In the search for those involved in the violence and destruction, police have released several videos with the hopes that the public, can identify the people who took part. This is the type of behavior that you'd expect after somebody, win a fucking championship or something, but for it to just be a house party gone awry? There's something strange in the state of Colorado, and it's not just the overwhelming weed usage, the influx of college kids with their liberal indoctrination, as well as the flight of Californians. But the rest of Colorado, right? It looks like your traditional old Republican state that got taken over in the major cities. Like, you just take a look at the map, and all of the counties fairly red except for Boulder and Denver, okay? And we got the voter registration for Boulder County itself, which encompasses the entire city. And it's stark, right? You got 105,000 Democrats. You got 106,000 unaffiliated, 31,500 Republicans. Huh. Okay. Now, what about crime in the area? Okay. It is one of the more unsafe cities in the country. I was really startled to find this stuff out. Like, I would have thought Boulder, Colorado, would have heard stories about it. Seems like it's a fairly innocuous place. But then again, yeah, while the rest of the state's trending downwards, the United States average, you can see, what's Boulder doing? Okay, outside of a peak in 2005, it's been on the rise since 2015, 2018, and then 2019. It basically all holds the same. Thefts continue to skyrocket. Property crime like that. Violent crime is on the downturn, and that makes sense because violent crime around most of the country is pretty much on the downturn. So then you have the overwhelmingly Democratic county try to justify their lower violent crime statistics with trying to push through several gun control measures, okay? And this is another thing that this is very, very weird too, because I was looking at everything prior to today, because you type in Boulder, Colorado right now, and it's all about the shooter, right? So it's like, what have they been talking about recently? Pro-gun bills dead. Oh, really? They got stricken down by a judge that was there. But Boulder, Colorado is trying to put in assault weapon bans, and they're using old leftist tactics of gaslighting. Even as murder and other violent crime rates are on the rise in Denver, but not in Boulder, let's be fair. Second Amendment fans are working overtime to try to make guns more accessible across the state, as you should. And while 5 pro-firearm bills died quiet deaths in Colorado General Assembly this week, a court tossed Boulder's ban on assault weapons. And a separate ruling could endanger the so-called red flag laws, which create an apparatus to take guns away from individuals deemed a danger to themselves or others. On Wednesday, March 17th, 4 bills backed by advocacy group Rocky Mountain Gun Owners went before various committees. We wrote about 3 of them in the past month, and our foremost radical 2021 Colorado gun bills. And those are HB 21-1038, concealed carry on school grounds, which would allow teachers, parents, and other law-abiding citizens to carry a firearm for self-defense on school grounds, which I like, personally. That's just my opinion. A polite society is a well-armed society. HB 21-1070, repeal the 2013 mag ban. This bill would restore Coloradans' freedom to buy and own standard capacity magazines. Why would you have that on the books anyways? It should be repealed. HB 21-1082, gun transfer background check permit exemption. This bill would allow those with valid CHP, concealed handgun permit, to bypass background checks when purchasing a firearm. Well, if you already have a handgun permit, which is harder to get pretty much everywhere that has such restrictions on the books, why would you need to go through another one? It seems redundant. HB 21-1185, repeal government firearms regulation and training class regulation. The bill would restrict the governor from taking executive action against our Second Amendment rights. Additionally, it allows CHP, concealed handgun permit classes, to be conducted online instead of an in-person course as currently required by state law. While the RMGO's executive director, Taylor Rhodes, I don't know if that's a guy or a girl, but based on the statement, I don't think it really much matters. It's a beta regardless. Referred to the measures as common sense bills that would increase Colorado's safety and freedom. The Democratic majority of the committee members felt otherwise. All 4 have been postponed indefinitely, meaning they won't return this session. The same goes for the fourth measure of the previous roundup, HB 21-1098, subtitled Civil Liability for Extreme Risk Protection Orders, which earned its own postponement on March 16th. So we're going to end on this one. John Caldara, head of the Libertarian Independence Institute, argued that the order was a victory for diversity of thought in the overwhelmingly liberal community. I was proud of the plaintiff in one of the legal challenges against a hateful ban and the ban of magazines with more than 10 rounds. My lawsuit, spearheaded by the sharp folks in the Mountain States Legal Foundation, attacked the issue in federal court. That suit was put on hold until the NRA's sister lawsuit in the state was decided. It's weird how all of this stuff has happened in the past, 10 days? And then all of a sudden, there's some random goof run through and try to blow some people away, apparently. All we have so far of this mass shooting that is going on is one person that was shot in front of some dude's grandkids. Well, I don't know. It's still pretty early on, but this seems like just more justification for some more handgun or some more assault weapons bans. It just seems mighty convenient now, doesn't it? I'm just saying, all of these little fucking shootings that are going on, like Atlanta last week, okay? We're just going to spin this into a hate crime thing. Something doesn't quite sit right there for various reasons that I've already covered. And then we got this incident over here in Boulder, Colorado, where however this shakes out, it'll be spun. I at least know that it's a pudgy little white guy who's in custody at the moment. And we know HB 127's at the federal level. They're just waiting to get passed. So they're going to try and stand on these as, oh, look at it's happening across the country in overwhelmingly Democrat areas. Atlanta, Georgia. By the way, who's the mayor there? Keisha Bottoms? Yeah, Democrat. And then you got Boulder, probably the most liberal area in all of Colorado. It magically gets shot up not long after they decide to mothball some legislation that would curtail the Second Amendment. I don't know. It's seeming just a little bit too perfect, okay? But who knows? I could also be completely wrong on this one. It could just be another fucking nut job just running around. But that's Biden's America for you. I'm sure he'll hop up on a podium and either fake cry or forget what he's talking about. Probably heard Boulder and thought somebody fell off of a rock climbing wall. Hey man, what are you doing up there? Should have been tied off. But yeah, until we have more information on this, I don't know where to go with it. If we have any updates, I'll keep you guys posted throughout the day. It's a hot story, but there's some underlying stuff here that isn't quite sitting right with me, and figured I might as well share it with you. With that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.